Shalom. I'm just getting my bearings straight. Okay, here it is right here. Okay, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Shai. I'm going to entitle this video The Great Reset in the Year of Release. Anyway, this is a video that I came across. And I subscribe, excuse me, to this individual. This is John Williams. If I remember, I'll leave the link in the description box, but this is his newest video entitled Apple Pulls Out of Turkey Over Hyperinflation. Do this now. And this individual, John Williams, he goes into, he invests in real estate. I believe he's in Florida right now. He was in California. And I believe he lived in Philly, but he had moved around. And he was into the whole, buying properties, investing in properties. And, he sees that it doesn't make any sense to even live in LA or California as a whole. So I believe now one of his videos, he said he's in Florida. I believe he's in Florida. Anyway, I was watching a video, 20-minute video, good video. He goes into, what the title says, Apple pulls out of Turkey over hyperinflation. Hyperinflation. Now, when you look up the word hyperinflation in Google, they're not going to break it down to you. And the reason why is because they don't want you to understand what hyperinflation really is. And I'm gonna show you that they're not going to break it down. Nanotechnology. Anyway, come back. Yeah, we do a lot of studying, a lot of research. So I'm going to put in hyperinflation definition. Okay, here it is right here. Okay, hyperinflation. In economics, hyperinflation is very high and typically, well, they do give you the definition. Typically accelerating inflation. So now let's look up the word inflation. I don't have to read anymore. If you drive a car down the road, you're going 30 miles an hour, you want to accelerate, you step on the gas pedal, and you go from 30 to 60, right? So let me take this one. Let me just take inflation. Oh, this is Quas. Quas is the deity of the Edomites. See, Esau was introduced to Yahweh, and they got mad at Yahweh, and they said, we're going to have our own God, which is Quas, which looks just like Barry Manilow. Anyway, and Quas looks just like an Edomite. So we know what the Edomites look like based upon their God. But the Chinese have a God, their God is going to look Chinese. Well, actually, Buddha is one of the gods, is Elamite. Anyway, let me do this. So we know who the Edomites are based upon their God. Anyway, back into the subject. Inflation definition. Inflation definition. Right here. In economics, inflation refers to a general progressive increase in prices of goods and services in an economy. So what are we experiencing right now? Inflation. It says when the general price level rises, and that's what's happening on everything. Whatever you want to buy, the prices are going pretty much going up, especially on foods because you need food every day. Each each unit of currency buys fewer goods. What does that mean? You lose the value of your paper money or your digital money and services. Consequently, inflation corresponds to a reduction in the purchasing power of money. Well, they broke it down right. They broke it down right. So now let's look up, go back to hyperinflation. Hyperinflation in economics, hyperinflation is very high and typically accelerating inflation. So you got prices generally go up. You know, you purchase a steak or whatever, and it's $34 or whatever. You know, I remember when a steak was like $5, not too many years ago. But let's say it's $30. You know, you go back. You know, you eat steak once a week, and you realize 2 months later it went up to 35, and then another a month it went up to 37, and then another 2 months it's at $40. That's inflation. Hyperinflation is when it goes from 30 to 35 to 37 to 40 to 50 to 55 to 105 to 125 inside of a week or even a day. You know, look up the Weimar Republic and put inflation, hyperinflation, Weimar Republic, in before Hitler came on the scene. So you got to know this history too. Um, it says in economics, hyperinflation is very high and typically accelerating inflation. So if you want to experience any type of inflation, you want to experience inflation, not hyperinflation. It quickly erodes the real value of the local currency, the paper dollars that you have in your pocket, in your wallet, and the digital money that you have at your bank. As the prices of all goods increase, all goods, everything going up. Oh, except for silver and gold. If anything, that should go up along with everything else. So we should know what's happening behind the scenes. This causes people to minimize their holdings in that currency. They, if you understand money, if you understand inflation, if you understand, people don't even, the average person doesn't even know. I'm talking about an American person. They don't even know what's going on. They always say, well, things are going to get better. They said this causes people to minimize their holdings in that currency. What currency do you have in America? It says minimize their holdings. They're getting rid of those paper notes, and they're going into something. They're buying something else, maybe silver and gold. And another thing you can invest in is liquor, them nip bottles of liquor, because when people are depressed, they want to drink. So liquor, liquor is and liquor prices are going up too. So somebody smart would stock up on liquor and turn around and sell it. I mean, that's just an idea. That's what people do. You have another thing called price gouging. You went to the product last week, it was $1, now it's $20. And if you don't get it at $20, next week it'll go up to $30. And people are beginning to kind of understand something's going on, but they don't understand it. I'm explaining it to you, you know. Anyway, am I going to the Jubilee, the year of Jubilee? I'm going to go into the year of release, you know, which these elites all claim to be Christians, right? But they don't follow the laws. And the stupidity of Christianity is that, oh, the laws are done away with. So people go into poverty because they haven't applied the laws. They haven't enforced the laws of the scriptures. And I'm going to go into James 5. It says this causes people to minimize their holdings in that currency as they usually switch to more stable foreign currencies. It says such as US dollars. Let me click on. Wow. Look at this here. This is a Hungarian note. It says 100 quintillion. Wow. The largest pingo, the largest denomination bill ever issued Hungary, 1946. It says 6 sextillions. Look that up. A pango notes were printed but never issued. So this is in a. I spoke about the. Wow, 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 wow. You see these charts. Okay, time. Let me see something. Time it would be. Time it would take for the Venezuelan Bolivia. Now, Venezuela, you go back 15 years, 20 years, they were that was the place to be. It says time it would take for the Venezuelan Bolivia, which is their dollar, to lose 90% of its value, 301 days rolling average. It says at 3.27% yearly inflation, which is not bad. Things normally go up. Yearly inflation, U.S. average, 1914 2018. This would take 72 years at 14, 1400, 14,200% yearly inflation. Venezuela's average Q4, that's quarterly, the fourth quarter. This would take 5 months. So we have this here. We have this chart here. Okay, this is inflation. And prices generally go up. You have the year 2011, 2016, 2019. And here it is, 2019. That's inflation right there. That's why prices go up. More inflation. Less inflation, more inflation. Okay, so we got that out the way. We'll come back to this individual. But anyway, watch this video and subscribe to this individual. You know, he goes in. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let you listen to a little bit of it. Let's jump around.
Everything going. Because in Turkey right now, we're literally pulling out of their lira. So much so that Apple closed simply because they wanted to get out from underneath that currency as well. We're having some really big challenges coming to Turkey, Argentina, a lot of other places. And what I think ultimately is going to happen here is people are going to get afraid of their own currency and they're going to try to get that money out. And things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, gold, silver, even vehicles, watches, artwork, all of these things. They're just going to try to get, a lot of people are going to start trying to get their money.
You heard what he said, right? Let me let you listen to it again. And see, you, Jake, don't know what's going on, man. You know, you trying to get back with your African gods, and you know, Jake is the last to know anything, man. That's part of the curses, man. You have no idea what's going on. That's why most of you are going to line up, you know, for that vaccination. And Esau is the only one, you know, protesting against the vaccination. The children of this world are wiser in their generation than the children of light. We are the children of light, but there's no light on upstairs in the membrane. Let's listen to that again. This is reality, man. But you Jakes haven't woken up. You Jakes don't know what the hell is going on.
Altcoins, gold, silver.
Let me go back a little bit more.
Things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins.
Which I don't trust. I don't trust the cryptocurrency.
What I think ultimately is going to happen here is people are going to get afraid of their own currency and they're going to try to get that money out. Then things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, gold, silver, even vehicles, watches, artwork, all of these things.
Bottles of liquor, the big bottles and the nips, because they're gonna go up, and people are gonna be depressed. Give him strong drink and let him remember his miseries no more. You go right to the bottle. Or drugs. You go to drugs. You know, drugs. You know, drugs is a big thing in America and around the world, man, because of depression. You know, something happened to you traumatic when you were a child. You were touched, and you know you can't get off the alcohol, the drugs. Another thing, uh, you got people that eat. That's a drug. The Food and Drug Administration. Food is a drug, and drug is a food. That's in Genesis 1. It speaks Genesis 1 verse. I believe that's 29. I'm not going to go to it. Somebody put it in. But your food is the herbs from the tree, which is medicine. Food and Drug Administration. Let's listen to that again.
What's going to happen here is people are going to get afraid of their own currency and they're going to try to get that money out. Then things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, gold, silver, even vehicles, watches, artwork.
The prices of vehicles are going up. You can sell a used car. A used car is better than buying a new car. You know, they're going to use this to bring in the great global reset, and then the MOTB, the buying and selling by the MOTB, digital dollars.
All of these things, they're just going to try to get, a lot of people are going to start trying to get their money into something that's going to hold value better. Because what we're seeing around the world looks to me like a big problem. Let me say this. Give a little what's up, everybody. I'm going to say what's up in the chat. Look at what's happening right now. So this is where we are stepping into again. So we're seeing these types of headlines, but what this says is that we could have a situation with a lot more stimulus coming very soon. And if this does in fact happen, rates are going to be kept low. We're going to keep interest rates low, and we're likely going to continue printing a ton of money. And then ultimately, at that point in time, if they move rates even slightly, things are just going to crash, absolutely crash. But I mean, things are getting pretty. Yeah, this is on Facebook, so things are getting pretty scary here. But here, look, this Business Insider. Look at this. Apple has stock sales in Turkey after losing 15% a day. The country's currency crisis is so dire that people are buying upmarket electronic imports as investments. As investments. Turks attempting to buy iPhones and other electronics received online error messages on Wednesday, including from Apple's local website, after a historic 15% plunge in the lira in a day before caused havoc with prices.
The lira, as you just heard, lost 15% in one day. The value of the money. So what you can buy one day, went up dramatically. Go to your supermarkets, go to your Targets, go to your different stores, and just check out the prices from week to week, from month to month, month to month.
Turkey slipped back toward its record low on Wednesday, driven by worries over broader fallout for the economy after President Erdogan defended recent sharp rate cuts despite widespread criticism and calls for reversal. So what's happening here is that what the citizens are calling for is trying to put a stop to the madness on their currency. And he's saying no. We're going to continue keeping rates low, and they're going to keep the direction, which is going to be heavy stimulus. Lira lost 43% of its value this year. 43%. So imagine, you're a school teacher, you're making $50,000 a year. Your currency loses purchasing power for 43%.
Yeah, that 50,000, the value of the 50,000 goes down to about 25,000. So in actuality, you're not making 50,000. You're making closer to, I'll say 30,000. And then, by way of prices going up. Got to understand this, people.
That's going to be a lifestyle. It brings you basically to poverty. It brings you to a place of real desperation.
Yeah, because of what they did in the Weimar Republic, they would take the dollar paper notes, the Deutschmarks, or the Weimar Deutschmark, and they would use it for wallpaper. If you wanted to get a loaf of bread, you would have wheelbarrows of dollars. That also happened in Zimbabwe under Robert Mugabe, and we did shows on that more than 10 years, about 10 years ago. As his economy crashed. You don't understand money, you're gonna be in trouble. Let's listen to a little bit more. And then we're going to go into the scriptures.
People are literally being forced into poverty through this hyperinflation that we're seeing. And more than 22% since the beginning of last week alone.
Ooh, that's a major hit. And that's coming here to the Americas, but the average American they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's coming down the road, down the pike.
Think about that just for a second. The lira lost 43% of value this year, and it lost 22% in the last week. So we're starting.
That's hyperinflation right there. That's hyperinflation. The title: Apple pulls out of Turkey over hyperinflation. Do this now. So let me go into the precepts. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So I put in the word cry. It says, Deuteronomy 15, verse 9, beware, beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the seventh year, which is the year of release is at hand. What does the year of release mean? It means if you owe money to somebody and they didn't pay you, come the 7 year, and then the 7 year is a fixed year. In other words, it's not, well, I gave you this money, you got 7 years to pay me back. It means that there's a cycle of the year of release. So let's say I borrow something from a person in the 6th year. You might say, "No, I ain't gonna give him the money because the year of release is another year from now, and he gets to keep that money." So that's what this scripture means right here. It says, "Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart," meaning if someone needs to lend and you got it, a fellow Israelite, you're supposed to lend it to him. Saying, the 7th year, the year of release is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother. The reason why you borrow money, because you need the money to buy things for your family. And even Esau has a form of a year release, which is a statute of limitation. You owe money on a credit card, you don't pay it. It used to be 7.5, then it went to 8. I believe it's 10 years now. The same thing with the IRS. If they don't get you inside of 10 years, it's supposed to be 7. If they don't get you inside of 10 years, um, the debt goes away. You know, so Esau uses that to a certain degree. But if America is supposed to be a God-fearing, Bible-believing country, you're supposed to apply the laws in the scriptures. There's another reason why this place is going to be destroyed. It says, "And that I be evil against thy poor brother, and thou giveth him naught, and he cry unto Yahweh against thee, and it be sin unto thee." And what's the wages of sin? Death. You get sick and die. You get struck by lightning, a building falls on your ass. It says Deuteronomy 24, verse 15, it says, "At this day thou shalt give him to his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord Yahweh, and it be sin unto thee." The way you got paid is every day, a day's work for a day's pay. Not, oh, you got to wait till the end of the week. You get a job in this kingdom, in this system. You got to work a week or 2 weeks before you get your first check. That's wickedness, man. It says, Judges 10, verse 14, "Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen, let them deliver you in the time of your uh, tribulation." So these Kemetic people, these other different Jakes, Christians, when all hell break loose, pray to your false gods to see if they come to deliver you. Okay, let's go from here to, okay, I read this Deuteronomy 15, verse 9, "Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying the 7th year." We read that. Deuteronomy 31, verse 10, "And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the feast of tabernacles." So the feast of tabernacles, the year of release was every 7 years during the feast of tabernacles, and the jubilee was during the time of the atonement. You get a clean slate. You don't owe nobody nothing. Let's see right here. Leviticus 25, verse 9. Then you shall cause the trumpet of the Jubilee. The Jubilee represents 7 year releases, which is 49 years. And that next year, going into the next year, is the 50th year, which is the year of Jubilee. Even Esau uses the term Jubilee. So they understand what Jubilee is. It says, then you shall cause the trumpet of, and you freed your slaves, your male slaves. If the Hebrew had another Hebrew as a servant, he also released your children. It says, then you shall cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. What's that? It's the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement. That's the day you get a clean slate. If you owe anybody something, you don't owe them no more. You shall make the trumpet to sound throughout all your land. And this is what Esau's not doing this. Esau says he believes in the Bible. Oh, we're a God. We believe in God. We fear God. Well, why don't you apply his laws? Because you're not true Christians. You're not, you don't understand how this situation that we're coming to, man, you know, when the wicked are in authority, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Everybody's mourning, man. Because who's in power? The wicked. Who's the wicked? Malachi. One. Esau. Esau's still here. You know, type it, go to Google and type in the word Quas. I believe it's Qus. Or put in the God of the Edomites. And you're going to see Barry Manilow. The Edomite. That's what the Edomite looks like. It's a, we don't look. These Edomites are watching us, man, because they know we have the truth. They know that we are the people of the Most High. But if he is not, this is Leviticus 25, verse 28. But if he is not able to have it restored to himself, then what was sold shall remain in the hand of him who bought it until the year of Jubilee. In other words, you have something that somebody gave you, you're supposed to pay him, but the year of Jubilee comes along, you don't got to pay him nothing. That goes into debt, mostly into debt. I give you money, you don't pay it on the year of Jubilee. The year of Jubilee comes, it's free. And because that keeps everything in balance. You know, you don't have a year release and a year of Jubilee, then everybody becomes impoverished. It shall be released, and he shall return to his possessions. So this devil got a lot to pay for. As a hired servant and as sojourner, he shall be with you and shall serve you until the year of Jubilee. So if you have a hired servant in the 42nd year, 43rd year, then 7 years later, you got to let the man go. But then you have a year release as well in the law, where you have a man, Hebrew has another Hebrew as a servant. He works for him 7 years. I mean, that happened with Jacob and Laban. Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel, then he had to work an additional 7 years for Leah. I mean, I'm for Rachel, but he got Leah, but then he had to work an additional 7 years to get Rachel. It says Leviticus 25 verse 50. Thus he shall reckon with him who bought him the price of his release, that which is slavery. Nice way of saying slavery, servant, slavery. shall be according to the number of years, from the year that he was sold to him until the year of Jubilee. It says, it shall be according to the time of a hired servant for him. A man slave, a Hebrew has another Hebrew as a servant. A man, he worked for 7 years. Also, if it if it happens to be on a jubilee, he's also released. Now, among a woman, now if a man, Hebrew man has slaves, a Hebrew man has a Hebrew woman as a servant, she's there for life. She's there for life. So women don't get the same uh, protection privileges as a Hebrew man. Leviticus 25, verse 54. And even Yahushua understood this because didn't he heal the centurion servant? Why didn't he say, well, wait a minute, why do you got this guy as a slave? Well, he understood the law. And that centurion was an Israelite. And if he is not redeemed in these years, then he shall be released in the year of Jubilee, he and his children with him. He and his children. Now, there's another Lord saying that you got to leave your children, but the year of Jubilee, you can leave with your children. Let's read a couple more. Leviticus 27, verse 21. But the field, when it is released in the Jubilee, shall be holy to the Lord as a devoted field. It shall be the possession of the priests, which are the Levites. And the richest people in Israel were the Levites. They were living good. They were living good. When you read about the priests during the time of Yahushua, the high priest, he was living in a mansion. It says Numbers 36 verse 4, and when the jubilee of the children of Israel comes, then their inheritance will be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry. So their inheritance will be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. Now that's a whole different another subject on land rights, because you can be a Levite and marry up with an Ephraimite, and that land goes to you because you're the man of the relationship. So they can have a lot of Levites marry Ephraimites and just take the whole land. So there's land rights for women as well. If a man has a daughter in a plot of land, he has no sons, you can't take that land because it's in the name of the father. That's a whole nother lesson. So now let's close on James. And that's another one of my favorite precepts, chapters, James, because people are slowly beginning to understand how the money system works and how inflation works and hyperinflation. It says a rich oppressors will be judged. Who are the rich oppressors? Esau. James 5:1. Let me read through this quick. Come now, you rich. Let's talk about the elite, which are the Edomites. Who are the richest people on the planet Earth? You got the Moabites and you got Esau. You got Esau number one and Moab number two. You got Edomites, some Edomites that are worth $150 billion. You got the super rich like the Rothschilds, they're worth trillions of dollars. It says, come now, you rich, weep and howl for your miseries that are coming upon you. That's the destruction. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth eaten. Your gold and silver are corroded. Wait a minute. That's from the New King James. Let me go to the King James. Third verse, James 5, verse 3. Your gold and silvers can't get in the rust of them uh, shall shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it was fire. That's the missiles. Ye shall heap treasures together for the last days. We're in the last days. Behold, the hire the laborers who have reaped down your fields, meaning, you say you gotta go to your job. You might be a truck driver. You're gonna say, well, I'm going on the field. I gotta go back to the field. Jake says that, I gotta go back to the plantation. Why is it called a plantation? Because you plant things. It's a farm. So Jake works for IBM. He's gonna say, well, I gotta go to the plantation. He worked for UPS. I gotta go to the plantation, which is synonymous with slavery. Slaves work on the plantation. And you Edomites are going into slavery. You Edomites are going into slavery. You're gonna be working the fields. You're gonna be busting your ass from can't see to can't see. It says, fourth verse, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, because this money system is based upon fraud. But the average person don't understand the money system. And it's very simple. It says, and the cries of them which have reaped. Didn't we read the law about the cries? They shall cry. And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the Lord of the Sabaoth, which is the Lord of the armies. Let's see if I don't know if I, let me see. Go back to cry. Bear me for a minute. Okay, I believe that's Deuteronomy 20, Deuteronomy 24, verse 15. At his at his day thou shalt give him his ire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor and setteth his heart upon it, lest the cry against thee unto Yahweh, and it be sin unto you. Deuteronomy 15, verse 9 again. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the seventh year, the year of release, is at hand, and thine eye shall be evil against thy poor brother, and thou shalt, and Esau is our brother, right? Giveth him not, and he cry unto Yahweh against thee, and it be sin unto thee. So let's go back to James. James 5, verse 4. Behold the higher. So that, see what James is saying right here, he's tapping into the Lord. He said, behold the higher the laborers who have reaped, and he's prophesying as well. Reap down thy fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and see you Jakes are not crying. If all Jakes in America and around the world woke up to the fact that the Israelites and they all call on the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Most High take this man down. That's in 1 Kings 8. And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. The Sabaoth is the Lord of troops. He has many armies. He has the army of Israel. He has the missiles, the mechanized army. He has Esau's army because the Lord makes Esau fight against each other. Revelation, the 6th chapter. It says, 5th verse, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, Revelation 18, and been wanton, undisciplined. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. When you had a good meal, you had a goat or something, or whatever you had, a cow or whatever, they would kill it right there. That cow or that animal be walking around, and then later that night you eating it. It's not cut up and put in the freezer for 12 months. Ye Ye have condemned and killed the just, which are us, the Israelites. We are the just. And he doeth not resist you because we don't have the power to resist. Let me look up the word just. And then I'm going to close it. All right, just.
Strong's G 1342. Dikaios. Dikaios.
Which means righteous, observing divine laws. In a wider sense, upright, righteous, virtuous, keeping the commands of the Most High, which you Christians do not do. So you're not the just. I mean, I don't got to read anymore. You know what? Let me try something. Let me try something. I believe. Okay, boom. So just means, I just read just means to be righteous, upright, a keeper of the law, right? This right here proves that um, Cornelius is an Israelite, Acts 10, verse 22. And they said, Cornelius, the centurion, a just man. Edomites are not just. Their DNA is not meant to be just. They're the wicked. So all you clowns out there still saying that Cornelius is an Edomite, you haven't grown, man. It says, and one that feareth the Most High. Esau don't fear the Most High. They fear Quas, Barry Manilow, and of good report among all the nations of the Israelites or the Jews was warned from the Most High by an angel. An angel came and delivered. So an angel came and delivered the Edomite, man, to send for thee unto his house and to hear the words of thee. Anyway, I think I said enough with that. I'm going to say shalom.